To see the current failings of Taiwan's armed forces, you only need to spend a day with a batch of conscripts. Since 1949, when hostilities between Taiwan and China began, all men have had to serve time in the military. But after decades of relative peace, the martial spirit is gone. And rather than preparing to battle an enemy, many recruits are battling the bulge.
Fewer people in Taiwan are having children these days. The kids they do have are frankly spoiled.
With conscription so unpopular, Taiwan is ditching the draft and transforming its military into a smaller volunteer one. Special force soldiers will be expected to play a larger role. This group of trainees is trying to become frogmen, members of Taiwan's version of the U.S. Navy SEALs. 140 applied, but only 10 have gotten this far. And even those left are struggling. The military has had trouble finding enough able men for a volunteer army. But part of the reason is its own image. Last year, draftee Hung Chang-Chu was caught taking a smartphone onto a base. He was held in solitary confinement and then had to endure hours of endless drills until he collapsed of heat exhaustion. His death led to mass protests, and the government was forced to delay implementing the volunteer army from this year to 2017. Still, the island's president says Taiwan has no choice but to modernize its forces.
With the all-volunteer force, the soldiers and officers in the military will receive more training than before, and it would be much more effective. I'm very confident in this regard.
But back with the Special Force trainees, we still see challenges. It's the final night of the tryouts. Exhausted, some are struggling to stay awake.
When it comes to willpower, this bunch is not as strong as earlier generations, who are highly determined and decisive. Some of them aren't solid.
Superiors also tell us they've been easing the physical requirements for soldiers to become frogmen. While this test is not as punishing as in years past, it is still geared to taxing every aspect of the soldier, from the physical to the mental. What these trainers are looking for at this late stage of the game is whether these recruits have the will to go on. Whether ready or not, the responsibility of defense will be on the shoulders of members of this new volunteer force. Their success or failure could ultimately decide the future of Taiwan. Steve CHAO, Al Jazeera, Kaohsiung, Taiwan.